All right, first of all, Mark, thanks for joining us here on Astro Premier League from Malaysia. Let's talk very quickly. It's just about a year's passed under Oliver Glasner. How has he changed you as a player, you feel?
Yeah, it's been good to work under him. I wouldn't say he's changed me too much as a player, but you learn a lot of things from him. He's a good manager with loads of good tactics, and trying to do my best to try and implement my qualities within his system of play.
Let's talk about very quickly, because a lot of fans consider Oliver to be, quote unquote, the best manager that the club has ever had. How would you compare him to, say, Roy, to Patrick? And can you see why the fans say that?
Yeah, I'd say they're all very different in their own ways. They all got their own strengths. Lucky enough to work with all three of them. I think the current manager's he's really ahead of the game in terms of his tactics. The way he sets us up for games, it's been really good. It's hard to compare all three of them. Roy was unbelievable. What a gentleman, someone that I really, really enjoyed playing under. And then obviously Patrick had a big impact, me coming to the football club, and really enjoyed playing under him as well. So I think they're all very different, but I'm happy to have worked with all of them.
Is it true that the gaffer has a penchant for Danish pastries? I just want to clarify that.
I think so. I wouldn't know too much, but I've I think so.
Because the word has gotten around. Obviously, I've never met the manager. I just want to clarify from your perspective, but either way, it's fine. Let's talk a little bit about your journey then. I know you spoke about your journey to Chelsea first and foremost quite a few times, but can you tell us exactly what happened when you were first scouted? I know it involved your coach. How did the process go? How did the trials go?
Yeah, it was me playing Sunday League for Cray Wanderers. My coach at the time was a Chelsea scout. Through there, you go through a process of many kids at the time. So I went to Kidbrooke to do the trials and a few times to Cobham to train there, and then from there, finally get scouted at a very young age, which was I think around 8 years old. So yeah, it was good.
How did he approach you at first in the sense that how did he tell you the idea, oh, okay, I'm gonna submit your name for trials? How did he break the news to your parents and how did you feel about it then?
He never approached me. He told my dad. My dad told me we were on our way to Chelsea. I said, great, fantastic, because I was a Chelsea fan at the time. So yeah, and then from there, it wasn't anything too serious because you're young. You're just going to play football and enjoy yourself. And then obviously down the years, that's when it gets a bit more serious. But at the time, it was just me, just enjoy myself.
I think you spoke about how a lot went through your mind when you decided to move away from Chelsea. It was obviously a hard decision for you to make. Does Chelsea still also feel like home to some level? And obviously Palace is home now, but it says sort of a special place in Chelsea for you.
Yes, definitely somewhere that had a massive part of my upbringing. Being there for so long, almost 13 years of my life, so a massive part. I don't know if it's home anymore, but I'm very glad and grateful to them for all the help that they gave me. But Palace is definitely home right now, so I'm really enjoying it. Club have been amazing, fans have been great with me, so yeah.
Well, let's talk about your role then. One of the personally to a lot of fans, you're one of the best defenders in the league. But I want to get your opinion as a central defender. Just how different is it when you are playing in a back four versus a back five, for example?
Yeah, very different. I think it depends on how each manager wants to, play that system. But our manager's very aggressive, wants to press a lot. So um, our centre backs were, going into areas that we might not usually be. For me, being on the side, I'm in wide areas a lot, high up the pitch, defending 1v1. So yes, it is completely different. But a formation that I'm enjoying at the moment, and trying to learn as much as possible.
Can you give us an example of sort of the things that you consider during a game when you play in these two different formations, for example?
I mean, in a back four, you've got one more player in midfield. So that's already one thing that you have to think of. When you've got the back five or the back three, there's one less person. So teams will be trying to create overloads in those middle areas of the pitch, and it's important for us to try and match those match those overloads, make the numbers count. So it's important for us in the back three to try and step out of our positions and try and match those numbers as much as possible. Whereas in the back four, you don't have to because you already have one extra player in midfield. So that's one example.
Well, it's interesting to kind of peek it through your eyes. Of course, one of your key strengths as a defender is some of your passes from deep in particular. How do you feel the role of central defenders have changed in the modern game? Because it seems like there's more and more demand from defenders in general to be involved in starting attacks. There's more demand to that position now.
Yeah, I think when you look across football, managers nowadays, a lot of them I'd say followed in Pep's style of play, which is building from the back. And I think in that defenders are called to be very comfortable in possession and start the attack. So as a defender, I think you have to be adept at doing both. One, first and foremost, defending, but also being able to bring the ball out and get the ball up to your important players up the pitch.
Can I talk about a little bit on history again? You were part of that record-breaking under 18s team under Jody Morris, I remember. Very special group, won a good amount of trophies, let's put it that way. Just how special is that group to you? Obviously, I believe you guys are still keeping in touch, obviously, but just how special are that group of guys to you?
Yeah, really good, man. I think when you grow up at a young age and you're playing with your friends essentially, and you're able to achieve something together. You create a bond with you guys for such a long time, and like you say, a lot of us do still keep in contact. So yeah, it was really cool, and having a manager like Jody Morris who pushed us every single day and was a big part in us all being where we are today. Yeah, it was great.
Who were you closest to in that group then?
I'd say Connor, probably Connor Gallagher, who I'm still close with now. He's doing really well in Atletico, so yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing really well at the moment. Let's talk about some of the players you faced in your career. There's quite a few prolific forwards that you have to come against. Who would you say has been the best player you've faced so far?
There's been many players. I always recall the first. It was I think when Jesus just signed for Arsenal, first game of the season. I think that first half was probably the toughest half I've ever had. I think he was amazing that half. So yeah, just for that reason, I'd say Jesus.
Okay. Just one final one from me that it might require a bit of thinking. If there is one football legend in the world that you had the opportunity to play with, you wish you had the opportunity to play with, who would it be?
Thiago Silva, very easy for me. Someone I look up to, someone who I look to as an example in the way that he plays and the way that he carries himself. If I ever got the chance to play with him, it would be amazing. I'd be constantly asking him questions, try to be a sponge, trying to learn as much as possible. So yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Mark, and all the best for the rest of the season, of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you.